We invite you to watch how we clear the views on all matters through our partner station MITV on DSTV channel 255, 7 p.m. daily, and also our YouTube and Facebook pages under one name, Clearview News Desk every day. We call it The People's News, as we are available to come over and cover your events upon notice. Or do you have news you want us to broadcast? Send it in. We verify and go to town with it. All for you. Go ahead, engage us to thrash out those naughty issues on the news. And what we need from you is to share and subscribe. More important, convince your loved ones, friends, relatives, co-worshippers, and more to subscribe so as to be getting notifications as we break the news. Go a step further, like the news, and drop your thoughts on the comment section. Clearview News. We clear the view one time and for all time.
Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines.
Pastor Damina denies ever saying God is not a Christian. Veteran journalist says threat to sue the media laughable. Nigerians expressed mixed feelings over the impact of newly created livestock ministry on peace, food security, and the economy. Sudanese security authorities give all foreigners 2 weeks to leave its capital Khartoum and surrounding region for their own safety.
I am Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. Abel Damina, who some people describe as the outspoken senior pastor of Abel Damina Ministries International, has reacted strongly to what he referred to as online misrepresentations of his controversial belief and preaching that God cannot be limited to a single religion, especially Christianity. Remember that in his viral sermon, Pastor Damina sparked outrage in the media when he urged Christians who believed Christianity was the only religion that could take them to heaven to discard their views, adding that God is not a Christian. He firmly claimed that God does not align himself solely with Christianity, emphasizing that even Jesus did not identify himself as a Christian during his earthly ministry. Damina has, however, vehemently denied ever making such remarks, describing the misquotation, mostly by Punch newspapers, as a criminal offense. A journalist and CEO of Clearview News Desk, Odion Bello, has described Damina's desire to take legal action against those involved in the news, including Punch, as laughable. Bello also advised Christians not to allow many so-called men of God to flood their Christian lives with false doctrines when the Bible is always there as a guide.
Unfortunately, people are calling him controversial pastor. Of course, that's what he wants to be referred to. That's the way he wants to be referred to. That people will say he's a controversial pastor and thereby become very popular. Mind you, we need to know that many pastors are battling seriously to be popular and they engage a lot of tactics. And I see this as one of the tactics of Pastor Abel Damina to be popular. Because if a pastor should open his mouth and say God is not a Christian, and because of public outrage, you are now saying, you are now making a U-turn, that, oh, I did not say so. Punch misquoted me. I don't agree with that. This is the same person that will not want to attack non-Christians, but just be looking for pastors to attack. Pastor A. Adeboye of the Redeemed Christian Church of God said he was drinking tea at a stage, maybe the other cup he was using became empty suddenly or whatever. He discovered that it was God himself or angel of God that drank the tea. What is your own business? And you now took that to your church. You started making noise that Reverend Adeboye, Pastor Adeboye couldn't have been drinking tea with God. What concerns you? Have you been talking about non-Christians that are slaughtering people, that are bringing our Christian children, sons and daughters, and giving them hopeless doctrines? You are not talking about that. You're always looking for what to attack in the Christendom. Now, immediately you say God is not a Christian. You are even saying that we should not believe that Christianity is the only religion that can take us to heaven. That was coming from a pastor, for goodness sake. Simply because he knows that after saying this kind of thing, online practitioners will go to town with the story, Damina here, Damina there, Damina there, he will be popular. This man is looking for ways to be popular. And of course, we are making him popular. And he's enjoying all this. Within the next 2-3 days, Pastor Abel Damina will come up with another thing. He might even tell us that God is a woman. And everybody will start, look, a mate of his, another pastor somewhere, told me that it couldn't have been possible for God to part the Red Sea, that to part an erosion is not an easy thing. After a bit of argument, he said, anyway, if God indeed parted the Red Sea, it must have happened during the dry season. That was why it was easy for God to do. A pastor said so. So I am not surprised when you are hearing all this. Anyway, in Romans, it's there that they will come with false doctrines. It's there that they will come. That even some people will even refer to themselves as Jesus. We are seeing all these things now. So if you want to ask me the personality of Pastor Abel Damina, you refer to him as a controversial. What is controversial about him? Somebody looking for stunt? What is controversial about him? But it is for you, as a believer, to check all your facts and figures right. With that, our Constitution, the Holy Book.
The National Councillors Forum of Nigeria has hailed the Supreme Court's verdict granting financial autonomy to local governments in Nigeria. The court's decision aligns with the Constitution, recognizing the 3 tiers of government: federal, state, and local, and their right to draw funds from the Federation account. The forum's president, Right Honorable Yusuf Shaibu Baba, praised the Supreme Court for upholding the Constitution and ensuring democratically elected local government systems. He condemned some state governments for refusing to establish democratically elected local government systems, describing it as a subversion of the 1999 Constitution.
It is clear that the Constitution of Nigeria recognized federal, state, and local government as 3 tiers of government, and that the 3 recognized tiers of government draw funds for their operation and functioning from the Federation account created by the Constitution. It is also clear that in provision of the Constitution, there must be a democratically elected government, elected local government system, and that the Constitution has made provision for any other system of governance at the local government level other than democratically elected local government system. It should be noted that in the face of the clear provision of the Constitution, some states have failed and refused to put in place a democratically elected local government system, even where no state of emergency has been declared to warrant the suspension of democratic institutions in the state. We also agreed that the failure of some states to put democratically elected local government system in place is a deliberate subversion of the 1999 Constitution, which is they and the President have sworn to uphold. It is agreeable that effort to make some least states complied with dictates of the 1999 Constitution in terms of putting in place a democratically elected local government system has not yielded any result, and that continue disburse funds from the Federation account for non-existing democratically elected local government. It is undermined the sanctity of the 1999 Constitution. Consequently, we, the leadership of the National Councillors Forum of Nigeria, hereby present ourselves today to rejoice with the federal government, the entire local government of the Federation, of granting the local government their constitutional right and autonomy to that effect.
The Supreme Court's verdict on local government autonomy is a significant victory as it is expected to enhance grassroots development and democratic governance in Nigeria. It aims at ensuring that funds are directly disbursed to democratically elected local governments rather than a joint account controlled by the state governments. The National Councillors Forum of Nigeria celebrates this milestone while congratulating the federal government, local governments, and the Supreme Court for upholding the Constitution and promoting local government autonomy. Now, the federal government has declared that the conversion of petrol and diesel-powered commercial vehicles to run on compressed natural gas is going to be free of charge. It declared this in Abuja on Thursday after signing agreements with various companies involved in the conversion of petrol and diesel-powered vehicles to operate on CNG. The program director, chief executive, Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, disclosed this to journalists after the government agency signed agreements with various companies in Abuja. The federal government said commercial transporters under their different unions, including the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, National Union of Road Transport Workers, and National Association of Road Transport Owners, among others, would benefit from the program, adding that the second group of commercial transporters to benefit are the ride-share operators. Following this Tuesday's announcement by President Bola Tinubu for the creation of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development as part of his administration's latest attempt to address the decades-long conflict between herders and farmers over access to land, pasture, and water, the decision has been met with mixed reactions across quarters. Nigerians have raised concerns over its impact on the economy, peace, gross domestic product, and its ability to attract investors in the long run. Clearview News Desk therefore presents our viewers on all you need to know about the new Ministry of Livestock Development in this commentary.
Tuesday, July 9, 2024, President Bola Tinubu announced that his government would create a new ministry for livestock as part of efforts to improve meat and dairy production and curb violence between migrant herders and farmers. He stated this during the inauguration of the Renewed Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The setting up of the committee is sequel to the submission of a report from the National Conference on Livestock Reforms and Mitigation of Associated Conflicts in Nigeria. For the past decades, Nigeria has been locked in conflicts between farmers and herders. The president believes the creation of the ministry will resolve the lingering crisis. He expressed confidence that with the new ministry, Nigeria can look forward to maintaining the quality and safety of its perishable goods from farm to market, thereby reducing food waste and ensuring a stable supply. Following the approval, he said the federal government is fully prepared to cover the cost of acquiring lands to ensure the peaceful coexistence of pastoralists and farmers. The announcement, however, has refused to sit well with some stakeholders who are of the opinion that the development is one that is dead on arrival. Clearview News reliably gathered that some stakeholders, especially those in the agricultural sector, assert that the creation of the ministry is not necessary. They argue that handling clashes between farmers and herders requires a more holistic approach between the federal and state governments to create a level playing ground for both crop and livestock farmers. They pointed out that more energy should be channeled towards addressing the problem of herders trespassing and destroying cultivated crops in the farms and checkmating their activities, especially at the state level. Reports have shown that thousands are killed annually in violent clashes between migrant herders and local farming communities in many states of the country, such as Plateau, Benue, Kaduna, and Taraba. Previous governments' efforts such as the National Ranching Policy and the highly controversial Rural Grazing Area (RUGA) have yielded little results to ending the violence. However, President Tinubu has expressed hope that his government will tackle the menace, noting that the new plan would provide the impetus for Nigeria to finally take advantage of livestock farming, dairy products and cold chain logistics, which collectively offers substantial commercial and economic advantages. He emphasized that the dairy industry contributes significantly to nutrition and food security by supplying essential proteins and vitamins through milk and its derivatives, such as cheese, yogurt, butter, as well as its economic advantages. Additionally, he said the efficient cold chain logistics are crucial in maintaining the quality and safety of perishable goods from farm to market, thereby reducing food waste and ensuring a steady supply. However promising as these potentials may seem, many worry that this may just be another hope dashed. Meanwhile, Clearview News Desk admonishes her viewers not to jump into conclusions through criticisms, but rather take a backseat and watch. Perhaps there will be light at the end of this tunnel.
Global leader in humanitarian and development efforts known as CARE has unveiled its new country strategy for Nigeria with the theme Leading Locally and Connecting Globally for Impact. The launch event, held in Abuja, the nation's capital, brought together distinguished guests, partners, and critical stakeholders to mark this significant milestone. CARE's country director, Hussaini Abdul, reflected on its journey in Nigeria since 2017. He highlighted the organization's expansion from humanitarian response in the Northeast to integrated development initiatives across 9 states, with a goal to reach 20 states by the year 2030. Clearview's Florence Joshua has the report.
The new strategy, developed over 2 years with extensive consultations, aims to create a more just, equitable and sustainable world for all. CARE reaffirms its commitment to local leadership and global connections, acknowledging the importance of partnership with governments, donors and local organizations. Official spokesperson to Nigeria's President Ajuri Ngalale spoke on government collaboration with CARE and its plan for continued partnership.
As we embark on this new strategy, we reaffirm our commitment to working in partnership to support local leadership and foster global connection. Our aim is to create a more just, equitable, and sustainable world for all. With this new strategy, we are confident that we can achieve an even more significant impact and make a difference in the lives of many in the country.
Nigeria itself is dealing with some significant challenges, including humanitarian crisis worsened by climate change. It has been said by the President's Special Envoy here just before he left, and violent conflicts and the pressing need for sustainable development. These problems call for a strong and coordinated response, and CARE Nigeria new strategy that will be launched this morning under the name Leading Locally and Connecting Globally for Impact aims to address these challenges directly.
All aspects of the value chain must be localized in country, and that we are going to actively curate the process by which that takes place. But of course, the President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a landmark move, has established Africa's first eco-industrial park, Nigeria's first green industrial zone, Evergreen City, a zone that is established for the exclusive purpose of the mass manufacture of renewable energy technologies for not just local demand, to meet local demand, but ultimately to meet the demand of the wider West African sub-region and eventually the continent.
Decolonization is important to address land distribution policies, educational systems, economic policies, trade relationships, and international party.
A valuable opportunity for us to discuss, to hear, to listen to each other's views, and to look forward to the future of CARE's work here in Nigeria. We look forward to continuing our partnership, and we really hope to understand everything that CARE is hoping to do in the next few years, and we wish you all the best for implementation of this ambitious strategy.
The event featured a panel discussion emphasizing the localization of international organizations and the importance of understanding local needs.
We have the acceptance, we understand the culture, the language of our people. And I think even looking from the perspective of effectiveness and efficiency and judicious use of resources, then I think we would all agree that looking at it from the perspective of empowering local women organizations, grassroots organizations to deliver is always going to be the best approach.
We are one of the proponents and drivers of the localization ideology. So we are pushing that, yes, we need more resources coming to, but clearly we are not getting there. So definitely we then need to look at what do we do to get to that point.
What is localization? There are two things. Shift more funding to local NGOs. Leadership to local NGOs. Locally led. 20% of their funding should go to local organizations by 2025 and 50% of their funding by 2030.
Our humanitarian framework specifically says that we should be putting agency at the center of our approach. And I think that's something that we don't do enough, I will admit that, but that we're trying and that we're really pushing for.
CARE's vision is a world free of poverty where all people live with dignity and security. With a presence in over 109 countries, CARE has contributed to global change for 206 million people in the past decade and aims to support 200 million more by the year 2030. The organization's efficiency, far-reaching presence, local leadership and trust were highlighted with a call to action for continued support and collaboration to implement its new strategy and make meaningful impacts in Nigeria. Florence Joshua reporting for Clearview News Desk.
If you are just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview News Desk. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us. Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. Welcome back. Sudanese security authorities have ordered all foreigners to within 2 weeks leave the capital, Khartoum, and the surrounding region for their own safety. Sudanese local police gave the directive amid raging fight between government troops and the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) militia. According to reports, hostility towards foreigners, especially those from other African countries, has been on the rise following reports of foreign mercenaries in the RSF ranks. Meanwhile, more than 150 foreigners who did not have valid residence papers were detained few days ago. A bloody power struggle has been raging in Sudan for more than a year between de facto ruler Abdel Fattah el-Burhan and his former deputy Mohamed Hamdan Daglo. According to the UN, the conflict has caused almost 10 million people to flee their homes and risked famine in the country. Meanwhile, international aid organization staff and diplomats still in the country have left Khartoum after the outbreak of fighting and are now working from Port Sudan, where the situation is comparatively stable. The chairman CEO of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Honorable Dr. Abike Dabiri-Erewa, has announced the theme for this year's National Diaspora Day celebrations and Diaspora Merit Awards 2024. The focus for this year's event is to recognize outstanding Nigerians in the diaspora and their contributions to national development. Dr. Dabiri-Erewa emphasized the importance of leveraging the expertise and resources of the diaspora for national development amidst the Japa phenomenon of Nigerians leaving the country for better opportunities abroad. This year's event with the theme Japa Phenomena and its implications for national development is scheduled to hold at the State House Conference Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja on July 25th and 26th, 2024.
Diaspora Day celebration is a call to action for us all, public and private-driven sectors, government agencies and the media. This phenomenon demands our collective attention to find ways to leverage the expertise and resources of the diaspora for national development. It has its consequences, we can't deny that. And the main one is the decline of strong human resources, because most of the Nigerians located are the youth. And this in turn makes a downward turn on labor and productivity in the country. However, we have to turn our lemons to lemonades. Today, we change the story by celebrating those vibrant Nigerians who are making positive impacts in the diaspora and making the country very, very proud. And those who, while abroad, are contributing positively to national development. And so we say that, as you leave, don't forget your country.
The celebrations will feature a presidential address, a panel discussion, presentations on diaspora projects, investment opportunities, goodwill messages, and celebrity interviews. The National Diaspora Merit Awards will honor Nigerians in various fields. Dr. Dabiri Erewa urged those planning to leave the country to do so legally, while urging those in diaspora to abide by the laws of their host countries and be good ambassadors of Nigeria. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories.
Abel Damina, who some people describe as the outspoken senior pastor of Abel Damina Ministries International, has reacted strongly to what he referred to as online misinterpretations of his controversial belief and preaching that God cannot be limited to a single religion, especially Christianity. Mixed reactions have trailed the federal government's establishment of the Ministry of Livestock, while some Nigerians see the decision as a boost to Nigeria's food security and the right path to addressing the nation's decades of herders-farmers clash. Others are concerned about its long-term implications. We also told you that Sudanese security authorities have ordered all foreigners to leave its capital, Khartoum, and the surrounding region within 2 weeks, following intense hostility towards foreigners, especially those from other African countries.
You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Bye for now.